Thinking about downsizing in Buford, Georgia? Wow. It's a huge decision with a ton of moving parts, isn't it? You probably have a million questions swirling around in your head. Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to break down the key insights from a fantastic guide on this very topic to help you get the clarity you're looking for. So let's just jump right into the big one. The question that's probably been on your mind a lot is now the time to sell your home in Buford, or does it make more sense to wait? It's a massive decision with so much on the line, so let's really unpack this together. Everyone's reason for considering this is a little different. Maybe you're over 55 and you're just done with the yard work, the constant upkeep. You're dreaming of a low-maintenance life. Or hey, maybe you're on the other side of it, helping a parent navigate this exact same transition. Or maybe you've got a rental or an inherited property that's just become more of a headache than a help. Finding your why is really the first step. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Downsizing is so much more than just a real estate transaction. It's a huge life decision. It has to line up just right with your finances, with what you actually want your life to look like, and, of course, with the timing of it all. And this is absolutely crucial to remember. There's no magic formula here. What worked perfectly for your neighbor or your best friend might not be the right move for you. The best decision is always the one that fits your specific goals for this next really exciting chapter of your life. All right, let's talk money, because this is obviously a huge part of the puzzle. We're talking about your home equity, likely your biggest asset, and figuring out how to make it work best for you. And that brings up some really important questions. Okay, this is the classic dilemma, right? Do you sink more money into a house you're getting ready to sell, hoping you get a bigger return? Or do you just sell it as is and let the new owners deal with the updates? The answer? Well, it might actually surprise you. Take a look at this number, $18,000. It's pretty powerful. The guide's analysis for the Buford market shows that making smart, targeted improvements, we're not talking a massive gut job here, costing around $18K can have a huge payoff. We're talking an extra $54,000 to $94,000 in your pocket at closing. That is a significant boost. Now for the next big financial fork in the road. So you've sold your home and you've got all this equity. The big question is, do you use that cash to buy your next place outright, or is it actually smarter to get a mortgage, even if you don't technically need one? And the key thing to understand here is that this decision goes way beyond just having a monthly payment or not. It ripples out and affects everything: your emergency fund, your tax situation, how flexible your estate will be down the road, and your overall financial security for years to come. With all these complex financial threads to untangle, it's totally natural to wonder if you need to bring in a pro. At what point does it become pretty much essential to get an expert, like a CPA or a financial planner on your team? Well, the guide gives a really clear-cut answer here. If the profit you make from the sale is going to be more than the standard tax exclusion, that's $250,000 for a single person, $500,000 for a married couple, then yes, you absolutely need a planner. Same goes if you're within 2 years of signing up for Medicare, because that income can actually impact your premiums. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the how. Let's shift gears and talk about the when. Everyone wants to sell at that perfect moment, right? To hit the absolute peak of the market. But what does the data actually tell us for Buford? So when is the best time to sell? Well, the guide is surprisingly direct on this. It points to a pretty specific window, spring of 2026. Based on all the current trends and projections, that's looking like the sweet spot. And here's the thinking behind that recommendation. Mortgage rates are expected to hang out in that low 6% range for the next few years. So waiting around and hoping for a huge drop probably isn't the winning strategy. The conditions predicted for spring 2026 seem to offer the best all-around balance for sellers. All right, now for the really fun part. Once you've made the decision to move, where are you going to go? Let's take a look at some of the incredible options right there in and around Buford that are really geared towards that 55-plus lifestyle. This choice can feel overwhelming, but the guide simplifies it with a really interesting point. Often, the decision between an age-restricted community and a traditional neighborhood comes down to one key lifestyle question. How often and for how long do you plan on having families stay with you? And here's just a little snapshot of the variety you'll find in Buford. For instance, if you're looking for that luxury rental lifestyle with resort-style amenities, Outlook Gwinnett is a fantastic option. But maybe you want own, but without any of the maintenance headaches. That's where a community like the Orchards of Park Ridge comes in, with beautiful condos. And then if a single-family home with access to the lake is your dream, you've got places like Lake Crest on Lake Lanier. You can see there's a huge range of prices and styles to fit just about any lifestyle. Let's talk about the move itself for a second, because let's be honest, leaving a home you've lived in for 20, 30, maybe 40 years, that is about so much more than just packing tape and boxes. It is a huge emotional and logistical project. And that brings up another key choice you have to make. Are you going to tackle that immense task of sorting through decades of memories, purging, packing all on your own? Or do you bring in a professional, a senior move manager who specializes in exactly this kind of life transition? And this quote from a client named Rob Springer, it just says it all, doesn't it? The right expert doesn't just manage the stuff. They manage the stress. They provide that peace of mind, clear communication, and a genuine sense of care that can turn what could be an overwhelming process into a genuinely positive one. And this might be the single most profound insight in the entire guide. If your big why for moving is family, to be closer to grandkids, for instance, you have to reframe the whole thing. It's not just a real estate decision. It's a relationship decision that just happens to have real estate consequences. That changes everything. And that really brings us to the final and most important question of all, the one that only you can answer. So just forget the market stats, the finances, the logistics, just for a moment. What do you actually want your next chapter to look like, to feel like? Answering that question, honestly, that's where this whole journey truly begins.